It's warm. What a beautiful day though. I always favour it going out in conditions like this because it's just way easier on the boat, and I don't like to put the heavy motor on. I can do a gas motor, but I like just kind of trickle in the trawling motor and just kind of slowly putting along really. It allows me to see some other areas as well that I wouldn't normally get to check out, which is quite nice. See. You're joining me, it's 4:30 on a Friday. I eventually got out on the water a bit later than I wanted to, but nevertheless, it's happening. Yeah, I'm going to be checking out a couple of spots. Never fished them before, so I really don't know what's going to happen or how the session's going to go. But yeah, I've got till Sunday afternoon if I need to or if I want to. So tonight it'll be just about kind of get the deeper going, scan a couple of the spots, see what's going on. Not necessarily for fish, although it does show up fish quite well. More so just for depths and contours, weed beds. Primarily because of the way the bank's formed, you're fishing off of a slight drop off shelf, another drop off. So you want to find the weed line, and where that weed line is, you fish between the bank and the weed line, and you basically connect with the fish that are patrolling that. Where I'm going to be, there's two kind of springs, natural springs that run into the lake, and they kind of keep the water at a really decent temperature right through the end of the year. Last year I was fishing till like December 27th. I can't remember, whatever it was, I don't even remember. It was December something, late into the year. Yeah, me and my buddy Dan, we were out and still catching fish without too much of a struggle. So did fish up here beginning of the year, very, very productive, and I ended that session with 3 40-pound fish and a slew of mid to upper 30s and a few 20-pounders as well, just for good measure. So it was a mixed session. The weather was not the greatest, which is fine. I mean, I had the bivvy and food and hot drinks and stuff. It was a lot colder, obviously. So I haven't been back since then. The temperature's obviously gone up quite dramatically, and I'll show you that as we go through the session on the deeper, because it gives you temperatures as well, which is nice. So you get an idea of your water temperature, based off the top water temperature. But it's up there right now. It's definitely warm. Plenty of people swimming at all the beaches that are around the lake. One thing I've noticed this year, which I didn't notice last year or the years before, is the eelgrass. I've never seen it on here before, and it's quite tall. It's about 4 to 6 foot in different areas. Carp absolutely love eelgrass. Obviously there's regular old like Canadian milfoil and a few other assorted weed growth patterns in the mix, but the eelgrass has really got me excited, especially if it's up that end where I'm going. Hopefully it is. It's quite a ride. It's about 4.25 miles on the water, and yeah, you kind of snake round a couple of bays. So I'm taking my time, just kind of cruising along, just so I can check out the bays and see what else I might find. You never know, it might set me up for another session later on in the year to kind of come back to. So hey buddy.
Oh, there's 3 of them up there. Wow. Hey puppies. They love the boats, obviously. Alright. I'll let you guys enjoy the views. Not that there's much down here in the valley. Cruise on. Got a few miles to go yet. I'll catch up with you once I'm on dry land. Alright, catch up with you then. So the cool thing about a lot of these spots that are along here is that right up above us here, there is hiking trails. So the hiking trails run all throughout state land. You can actually scout a lot of the spots doing that, and that's what I've been doing over the years. Basically, yeah, there's a big loop, hiking loop in here. It's about an 8-mile loop, which takes you, one side of it's all the way along the waterfront, which basically takes you all the way around here, and you can find these little bays and areas. Obviously, you can kind of walk in and hike into them and fish on those spots if you wanted to. While you're walking, you know, with the dog, whatever, the nice part about it is that it allows you to just kind of check out some of the little bays and the little coves that definitely get overlooked by pretty much everyone. You get a couple of the bass guys on their boats, you know, coming in occasionally to those, but they know what we're doing. They don't fuck around, and they're in and out, you know, they're nice enough. But yeah, it's surprising how many spots you can find by getting out on the trails, on the hiking trails, and having a look around. They really do get overlooked, and a lot of the time you can find like a little deer trail where the deer have been going down to get a drink. You can actually follow that down, and normally 9 times out of 10 it'll open up a bit and you've got a bit of room to get a couple of rods in. And places like this, that's really all you need, you know. Right, here's a perfect example of one. We'll whiz over here real quick just so you can get an idea of it. Nice little picnic area, or whatever you want to call it. Don't want to go too close in. But yeah, you see, someone's put a couple of little benches there. Oh, there's a ton of eelgrass in here. I bet the fish get really close up in here. Oh, unbelievable, yeah. They've got to come up in here as well, really close. But yeah, just goes to show, you know, nice trail coming down there off the main hiking trail. You just never know what you're going to come up and find. So you just got to get out there, give it a go. You know, a few recce missions. You might not catch right away, but to me, like one of the highlights of it is getting out there. Not necessarily putting a few miles in, but definitely putting some time in and finding these spots that are hidden. Now, some of these banks are just, they're you know, you're never going to get down them or up them. I mean, you could, but you're probably going to end up getting airlifted. There's some fantastic areas here. And that's why I like normally just going nice and slow and just seeing if there's any accessible areas, you know, bit of baiting, maybe come back and visit it on my way out for an hour or two and just drop a rod off the boat. You just never know what you're going to get when you get around some of these coves. So, you know, never overlook hiking trails that run along the sides of lakes. It's a really great way to kind of just take a look and see what's going on. About another 1.5 miles to go and we'll be there. So yes, anyway, let's do it. I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. All right, we're almost there. Thank goodness, I'm just doing a mid-water crossing. I try to hug the banks, you see, so that way stay out of the way of the boat traffic. I'm just going to cut across to this tree line here and then basically make my way down the bank into a cove that I found last time I was here, or had a look at last time I was here, and it looked perfect. But I obviously also saw fish in the other spot, which I ended up fishing as well, so I ended up staying there. But we shall see. It's nice and secluded, no one can get to it unless you're on a boat, and that's what I love about this. Not that I want to be antisocial, but when you put the effort in and you put the bait in and everything else, you know, sometimes it's just nice to go at it alone and kind of make your own path, so to speak, and stay out of the way of others. And that's exactly what this is about. But yeah, it's just about here somewhere, so. We shall see. There's a lot of down trees as well, so. Anyway. There's definitely some traces of eelgrass here as well, which has grown in by the looks of it. It definitely wasn't here last time that I looked. So there's a branch that comes down, and just in front of that branch is kind of where the drop off starts, is what I found on the deeper last time. So I'm kind of going to base this session around that area. Even now I'm not seeing any weed that's way up on the surface, but I'm going to drift down here, and then I'll put the deeper on, and I'll just kind of do a few passes and map it out, just so I've got an idea of the lay of the land. Because there's this lovely tree that's in the water over here. But I'm sure the fish are going to get up under. Not that I want them to, because I don't want to lose them, but it's more of just a haven little carp hole for them to kind of hide out in, I suppose, you know. Yeah, I'm just looking down here and I can see some weed growth for sure in a branch. Don't want to get whapped up in any of the tree limb here. I'm sure some fish will be getting close into here, so. Very cool spot indeed. Now, I do bring a small little mini saw with me that I'll be able to use just to cut a few limbs out, just to make things a little bit more accessible. Right, well, I'd say the hard bit's done, but we've actually really just gotten going. Got the boat situated now. I'm going to start unloading some of the gear. It's a bit troublesome, as I mentioned. So this particular section of water is tidal, somewhat tidal anyway. So basically there is a change in depth multiple times throughout the day, and it's basically to regulate the water from further up, and that's controlled by a series of dams or locks or whatever you want to call them. So almost like what you would kind of call a barrage in France or Europe. Basically it was a lake, or it was a river, sorry, and it's now sectioned off into various parts, which act like lakes. They're kind of more like catch basins, if you will, for runoff water and rain. And basically one will drop, and then they will open another one, which will then drop into that one, and then so on and so forth. So like there's no domino effect almost. So it stops flooding. It's a flood prevention essentially for towns and even other states that it runs through further up. Eventually it goes down to the ocean. There's a tidal section, which is also a great section in the brackish area, but this section holds some great fish. Another one just jumped out over there. I've already seen a few while I've been screwing around trying to figure this out. It's always difficult doing it here. The rocks are slippery, so well, not rocks, they're like cobbles, but they're not the greatest, but they're slippery, so the weights do slip a little bit, so you got to put a few others around it. Even on the bungee cords there's some motion, but as the water drops, the boat moves. You got to make sure it's not getting beached on the rocks, because then it's a pain in the arse to get it off if you need to go out and get a fish. Anyway, I'm unloading. I'm leaving a few things on here that I don't really need. Essentials, brew kit. Lovely bag, this one. If you haven't seen it, it's a quarter brew kit from the compact range, and that nice camo, Carpy camo shit. Anyway, so I'm going to get the rest of this off, get the kettle on, because that's what is needed foremost before anything else happens. Woohoo. Carry on with the party. Let's carry on with the party. See, I'm doing this and showing you all this so that you guys get an idea of, you know, I know some of you are very aware of what goes on with all this, but not all of it. So I figured I'll give you guys a good idea of what all the gear, all the bullshit, the back and forth and all that shit gives you an idea of exactly what this deal is. I've got to do some trimming here. It's not horrific. It's not bad. It could be worse. I've definitely done worse, but it's still a slog. But is it worth it? Yes, I'll tell you now. If anything decent shows up, it's always worth it. I'm going to say that was probably a catfish. It's hard to say sometimes because the line runs through a weed bed and then out the other side, so the lead didn't discharge, so I'm going to assume that it was a catfish. Normally if it's a carp, the lead will obviously discharge and drop, and especially fishing on a lead clip system, so it didn't do that, so I'm going to assume it's just a catfish picking it up and having a go with it. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. Light is slowly fading away. Still haven't had that cup of tea yet, but there's still time, obviously. Got the bug mesh on. I am still yet to put a third rod out. I've got two out fishing, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I need to get the kettle on. Well, that's Carp 1, Joel, Neil. I literally just cast it out, put it on the rest, on the alarm. I literally just tightened the clutch up and the rod literally just went right round, and I'm fishing almost locked up and it was taking line off of there. Could have, again, you never know, but I know these bigger fish here, but that could have been literally anything, I suppose. That was probably in about 4.5, maybe 5 foot of water, right in this cove up against a tree. And I knew it was going to happen. I had leader on, fishing a leg clip so I can drop the lead. But it was away before it had probably already picked up a move before I even noticed it registered on there. All right, let's set it up again and try again. That's all we can do. Do a recast of this one that's on the drop off there, right in front of me, and then that's it for the night. I think I'll get the kettle on, have one more cup of tea. The moon is kind of out, but not. Makes for a nice bright night, well, in between the cloud coverage. I think something tried this, I don't know, something must have picked it up, something happened, because the beads moved and it's come right round. And it's not just from me reeling it in, but the hook bait smells good still, so all I'm going to do is like a 3 bait PVA stick of oily crumb. I just put it in the crusher, crumb it up till it's fairly, pretty fine, and that seems to really do quite well here. So see, so it's not super, I mean it is pretty fine actually. I was going to say it's not super fine, but it is kind of pretty fine actually. So still can't believe that last one where literally I just cast it out over into that corner. I hadn't put a rod there yet, and I put it out there, and literally as soon as I got it on the rest, and I literally clipped the hanger on, snugged the line up a little bit on the spool, tightened down the drag cap. Literally as soon as I did that, the spool just started spinning right in my hand. I just wasn't ready for it, and I think the fish had probably already kited round, even more closer to the bank than I realised. So by the time I actually picked up the rod, lifted the rod up, it was well and truly in there. Probably wasn't ever going to get it out of there. So didn't have an option but to pull for a break. So yeah, lost everything on that one. Which, you know what? It happens, doesn't it? What are you going to do? I'm fishing just yellow pop-up. Well, it's not a pop-up, it is a pop-up, but what I do is I take a little piece of lead core and I push it inside it, and it's literally just the right amount to make it kind of neutral. It ends up being more of a wafter than a pop-up. So it's literally neutral buoyant to the hook. No, it's not actually popped up or nothing like that. And then on this, I'm just simple leg clip, a couple of feet of tubing just to protect the fish, stop scale lift and all that. These fish are mental in here, so I prefer to fish a bit of tubing, and it also protects that first couple of feet of line that are on the deck, because this place is literally littered with zebra mussels, every bloody foot, everywhere. They're on rocks, they're on tree limbs, they're everywhere. So I am going to adjust the tension I've got on the tail rubber, because that last one Didn't really come off. Anyway, that's that. We're good. Right, let's get it out of there. Oh, that is. Spider web inside. Right. Fingers crossed. All 3 rods are out now, so that's good. And other than that, it wasn't my fault. I don't think it was a mistake or anything. I think it was just bad timing. Really wasn't ready for it. Really wasn't expecting it to go off, honestly, and that's okay. It's time. Just gone 10 o'clock, so I'm just gonna have a cup of tea, a couple of nice cookies, and then probably call it a night. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. I'm hopeful that I'll pick something up during the night or early hours of the morning. I don't think that pickup that I had earlier was a random fish at all, honestly. So they're out there. I know they are. There's been so many fish crashing and showing, rolling over the three areas that I've got bait going in. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully I'll have an update for you in the morning. If not before then, maybe, who knows. I'll catch up with you guys soon.